Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C. Dot the Knows a Lot, Dr. Waluigi. One thing about Valentine's Day that is constantly pointed out is the fact that no one ever acknowledges the boys of the relationships. Well, no more. Right here and right now, I'm going to give the acknowledgement that they deserve. No real criteria about this list other than it's my list and these are my choices. So, without further ado, these are my top 10 favorite guys in anime. Number 10. Kazuma Kuabara from Yu Yu Hakusho. Kuabara, in my opinion, is what I think of when they try to make a better character than the main one. In the show, Kuwabara starts off as the rival of the main character, Yusuke Urameshi, a street punk with poor grades and an even poorer win streak against Yusuke. However, what I like more about Kuwabara is that how he grows throughout the show. From a big dumb street thug, Kuwabara becomes a guy who improves his grades and becomes one of the world's greatest protectors of the human world. His best moments come from saving the world from being controlled by demons to saving a yokai from a corrupt crime lord. Bottom line, Kuwabara is one of the better characters in this show and makes him my number 10 spot. Number 9. Joey Wheeler from Yu-Gi-Oh! Another character whose heart is bigger than his brain, Joey Wheeler is one of the best characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Franchise. He goes from being a bully to one of Yugi's best friends, who goes and helps him improve his dueling skills to make him a pretty good duelist in the series. I just love how everyone makes fun of Joey because he sucks, and yet looking back on his duels, he did get an amazingly far. In Duelist Kingdom, he made it to second place, and in Battle City, he made it to fourth place. So for a guy who is often called the worst duelist in Yu-Gi-Oh!, Joey is able to stand on his own because Yugi helped him improve, and in return, we watched his growth as a character. Number 8. Baron Humbert von Gigen from The Cat Returns and Whisper of the Heart. So the Baron is one of the few Ghibli characters that I feel fits the description of the badass gentleman. In The Cat Returns, he exists to help others out with problems too great to handle. In the case of the movie, he helps out a girl who is being forced into marrying the royal prince of the cat world. And throughout the movie, we see him use clever disguises and fencing techniques. I would mention his influence in Whisper of the Heart, but in that movie's case, he's just a statue that a girl uses to write a story on. But what I like from each of his appearances is his charm, and that is from his voice actor, Cary Elwes, who makes this kitty into a proper gentleman. Number 7. Edward and Alphonse Elrick from Fullmetal Alchemist. I put these two on the same spot because I couldn't decide which character was better. I like Ed because of his determination and love that he has for wanting to fix both his and his younger brother's bodies. But I also like the humanity and heart that Al portrays, even though he's a suit of armor. These two are the ones who I think of when I see two characters that represent hope in a hopeless world. Oh, and the 2003 version of the anime is better than Brotherhood. Number 6. Kamina from Tegan, Topa, Gurren Lagan. I'm not a huge fan of giant mech anime, mostly because the shows are always depressing and have too many serious moments that make it hard for me to watch through an entire series. However, when I watched Gurren Lagann and saw Kamina, I started to enjoy this series more. Kamina is one of the best characters because even though he has no idea what he's doing, he goes in full force and just ready to seize the day. He inspires people to be better than themselves, and even after his death, he continues to bring hope to a world where none has existed before and passing it on to those who knew him. Number 5. Brook from One Piece. Choosing one of the male characters from this show was so hard. As much as I like the other Straw Hats, Brook to me is the kind of character you should feel bad for, but don't because he's a bundle of joy. In my opinion, he probably has the saddest backstory out of all the Straw Hats because he had to live out the rest of his life on pretty much a cold, lonely graveyard, and then finds out that his friend's mission was not in vain and he can continue his journey until he returns to Laboon. Sure, some of his jokes might not be funny, but to me, Brook is one of the funniest members of the Straw Hats. Plus, I just love his determination to see women's underwear. Number 4. Kenichi Shirahama from Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. One of the lesser known anime on this list, Kenichi is the type of character that I can personally relate to. Kenichi is considered a weakling and a coward by his whole school. Because of this, he has very little friends, and when he tries to become stronger through martial arts, he gets treated like a punching bag to the point of giving up. However, when he meets a girl who is a martial artist herself, she takes him to her grandfather's dojo, where he learns to study under the masters of different martial arts who live there. Although it wasn't as bad as Kenichi's, I was bullied in middle and high school because of the things I enjoyed. Watching this show and watching how Kenichi grew from being bullied to eventually overcoming his bullies gave me the confidence to spend more time with my friends and learn to deal with my bullies in my own way. This character, in my opinion, is one where I feel anyone can relate to, and the show helps represent him as he goes through the struggles of life. Number 3. Kenji Harima from School Rumble. Oh my good golly, where do I begin with this character? Harima is one of the biggest bad boys in the school he goes to. However, much of that is a front because he has a secret crush, and it's on one of the dumbest girls in the show. That's not to say he's a genius, but he does have some common knowledge where his crush, well, let's just say a dormouse is smarter than her. But what makes Harima so perfect, for me at least, is the fact that his karma is worse than mine. Anytime he wants to confess to his crush, something will always ruin it in a comedic way. But no matter how bad things get, he will just rush forward and continue to try and tell his crush how much he loves her. Number 2. Issei Hyodo from High School DxD. I'm gonna need to take some time explaining this one. Issei is a second-year high school student who loves only one thing in life: boobs. He is so obsessed with boobs that his perversion gets him into trouble. That is, until a fallen angel kills him. He is then resurrected as a devil and serves the sister of Lucifer, Rias Gremory. He also obtains the power of one of the great dragons and uses this power to help his master and his friends fight against many forces that would ruin their life. What I like about Issei is that while he's a massive pervert, but he does have a good heart and tries to do his best to help out his friends, even using his perversion against his enemies. I know a lot of people who dislike harem anime because of the massive amounts of perverted characters, but Issei is one of those perverts that does have a good heart and tries to show he cares about the person behind the boobs. Number 1. Gaara from Naruto. This is one of the characters that I liked because of his journey. Gaara was born as the second son of the Kazekage, or the leader of the village hidden in the sand in the Naruto universe, and was used as an experiment to fuse him with a powerful monster that was contained many years ago. Then, when he goes through a series of exams, he meets Naruto, who fights and defeats him, where he shows Gaara that there is another way to live rather than only living with yourself. While I agree that most of Naruto is long and drawn out in the anime, the manga kept me interested in how Gaara grew from Naruto's words to him becoming the next Kazekage, and inspired the people who were once afraid of him to having him become the leader of the Fourth Great Ninja War. What I try to take away from these characters are the struggles they face, from something as telling your crush how you feel to something as simple as being able to have the courage to speak to others. It's most important that we show love and affection to our loved ones, but don't just make it so that you have to put in the effort or that others don't. It's just as important that our significant other does the same thing. Well, that's all for this year's Valentine's list. Thank you all for watching. I'm Dr. Waluigi, and remember, don't judge a book by its cover, because you'll never know what's inside. Good night, everyone.